All right, welcome to the Hudson Board of Trade. These bets, these earnings lines are for the week of December 20th. I get these earnings lines from Maria Bartiromo's Wall Street. It airs about 3 times, I think, over the weekend. The last 10 minutes of the show, she has an earnings calendar. And I take those events or those stocks that have earnings or those financial events throughout the week. I price out straddles and I offer them to my students. A student at the Hudson Board of Trade could be a college student that's in entrepreneurial, finance, like business college. It could be someone with a Series 7. It could be a stay-at-home mom or dad that's interested in the stock market. It could be anyone that's interested in the stock market or like read an options trading book. And finally, it could be someone that just enjoys gambling. So what I do is I boil down these stocks or these events over the week, and I price out a straddle for you guys. I've made a product that's smaller, simpler, and safer for you guys to begin trading with. I teach market making, and the reason why I teach market making, I think it's a very easy way to understand the market, and the advantage to understanding market making, the strategies that options traders are using, is you understand trading. And I also believe that if you take a bunch of repetitions, that equals mastery. So I try to offer my students about 10 trades a week, and that will lead to mastery. For $10, you get to buy 1,000 HBOT shares, which is the contracts that we're trading. And once you hit certain milestones, you will be offered membership or partnership opportunities if you do well at this game. So let's begin this. On Tuesday, we have 2 stocks that we're looking at. Centos is after market close. The at the money straddle is 260. And that straddle is worth $12.50, about 5% of the stock's price. The break-evens on that is $12 less 260 is $247.50, and $12.50 plus 260 is $272.50. If you think Centos is going to stay inside of this range, you would want to sell the straddle. If you think Centos could either go above or below this range, you could buy the straddle. FedEx is our next stock. It also has earnings after market close on Tuesday. And at the money is 165. And that straddle is worth $10.50, which is about 6% of the stock's price. So 1050 minus 165 is 154.50 on the downside. 1050 plus 165 is 175.50 on the upside. If you think FedEx is going to stay inside these 2 numbers this week, you would want to sell that straddle. If you think it can move outside of these 2 numbers, you would want to buy the straddle. Now on Wednesday, we have 4 stocks. Paychex, PAX is before market open. It's an 85. 85 is the at the money. And this straddle is worth $2.25. That's only 3% of the stock's price. So $82.75 on the downside and $87.25 on the upside. If you think Paychex is going to stay inside this range, sell the straddle. If you think it can move outside of this range, you would want to buy the straddle. Micron is probably our biggest stock of the week after market close. It's a $51 at the money is $51, and the straddle is worth $3.75. That's about 7% of the stock's price. So $47.25 on the downside and $54.75 on the upside. Sell it if you think it's going to stay in between these 2 numbers. Buy it if you think it can move outside of that range. General Mills is before market open. It's a $52.50 is at the money. It's a $2 straddle, 4% of the stock's price. So $50.50 on the downside and $54.50 on the upside. Stay inside of this range, sell the straddle. Move outside of this range, buy the straddle. Toro, TTC, before market open. It's at the money is about 80. That's $3.50 straddle, which is 4% of the stock's price. $76.50 on the downside, $83.50 on the upside. Stay inside of this range, sell the straddle. Move outside of this range, buy the straddle. Thursday, we have 3 names. Darden Restaurants, I believe. Before market open, $115 at the money. The straddle is worth $5.50. That's about 5% of the stock's price. $109.50 on the downside and $120.50 on the upside. Stay inside of this range. You want to learn to sell that straddle. Move outside of this range. You want to buy the straddle. Now again, I've made a product that's smaller, simpler, and safer for you guys to begin learning. So please trade at my exchange. Nike is after market close, $98 stock. The straddle is worth $2.25. That's about 2% of the stock's price. So on the downside, it's $95.75. On the upside, it's 125. If you think Nike's going to stay inside that range, you want to sell the straddle. Move outside of this range, you'd want to buy the straddle. Conagra Foods, CAG is our next stock. Before market open on Thursday. $28 stock, $2 straddle. That's about 7% of the stock's price. 26 on the downside, 30 on the upside. If Conagra is going to stay in between 26 and 30, you make money if you sell the straddle. If it moves outside, if you think it's going to move outside 26 and 30, you can make money if you buy the straddle. On Friday, we have 3 stocks also. CarMax, KMX is before market open. That's a $98, is the closest at the money. The straddles were $6.25. That's 6% of the stock's price. $91.75 on the downside, $104.25 on the upside. Sell it if you think it's going to be inside that range. Buy it if you think it can move outside of that range. Winnebago, WGO is before market open on Friday. It's a $50 stock. $4.50 is the straddle price. That's 9% of the stock's value. So that's $45.50 on the downside and $54.50 on the upside. If you think it's going to stay inside of this range, sell that straddle. Move outside of this range, buy that straddle. And we've been watching TLT, which is the bonds, the last couple weeks. I think it had like a $1.50 straddle 2 weeks ago, a $2.25 straddle last week, and now it's got a $2 straddle this week. So if you think it's trading $139 right now, if you think TLT is going to be between 137 and 141, you'd want to sell that straddle. If you think it can move outside of this range, you could buy that straddle. For $10, you get 1,000 HBOT shares where you can start to learn how to be a market maker. Again, the advantage of market making is it's an easy path to understand trading. So please thumbs up my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember, leave that bell on, that way you get updates. And please think of being a member of the Hudson Board of Trade. $10 gets you your first 1,000 shares, and I'm thinking the Wall Street week game is about $15 a month. We're going to come out with an options action game and other TV show games in the future so that you can really accelerate your learning in market making. So thank you for your time, and please become a member of the Hudson Board of Trade.